Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troll.
(1973 to 1976). Welcome back, baseball fans. 1973-76 Carryover League, another opening day. Today in the National League, we have the Houston Astros at the Pittsburgh Pirates from Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. These two teams, they are kind of under the radar a little bit in recent times, as the Reds really strutted their feathers last year, and the Giants look great. Please do not sleep on the Astros and the Pirates. These could be stud teams. If everything goes their way, easily could rise to the top of those divisions. Pittsburgh won the World Series 2 years ago, but then last year they had a down season. And the Astros keep adding nice little pieces to a team that competes for the National League West by the late 70s, early 80s. So this should be a heck of a matchup. Really intrigued by the two squads' developments. Pittsburgh, of course, loaded with lumber, but their pitching has been a little spotty the last few years. Let's see if they can keep up that end of the bargain. And the Astros are finally getting some reinforcements in the offense and the pitching and the defense. So now they got all three phases working. Today's pitching matchup. And much like the first opener you saw with Mark Fidrich and the Tigers, the rookie leading the staff. Well, he's not a rookie, but J.R. Richard, 1976, will be the ace of Houston this year. He's been in baseball for a few years, not particularly very good, so he hasn't been in our league. But we promoted him for the 76 season as a 20-game winner with a .275 earned run average in 291 innings, just 14 homers allowed, 214 strikeouts. He'll start striking out even more, approaching 9 or 10 per 9, something like that, eventually. And your Pirates are going to lean on Jim Rooker to anchor the staff yet again with a .277 ERA. Steve Blass is long gone. Bob Moose is gone. So they're going to have to rely on Rooker and Candelaria and Bruce Keeson to keep their postseason dreams alive this year. J.R. Richard, Jim Rooker, opening day in Pittsburgh. Let's get it underway. Leading off for the Astros, it's Cesar Cedeno. And 35's a base hit, and he's a double-A stealer, and he's going to take off. And he's going to get thrown out on a 16 by Manny Sanguillen. Houston tried to be aggressive right out of the blocks to strut their speed, and it didn't work. Oh well. Batting second, Tommy Helms. 2-8's a grounder to the third. And Bob Watson, 68, is a walk. 2 outs, a man at first for Frank Robinson. Yeah, Frank Robinson traded in the offseason to Houston. 6'10", short X. Larry Milbourne's the shortstop. He's a .338, and he makes the play. All right. Bottom of the first here in Three Rivers. It'll be Richie Hebner leading off. 63, pitcher X, off of Richard, who's an E38. Well, he got promoted, but not for his defense. He's pretty clunky out there, and that's an error. Al Oliver, 57, is a walk. 2 on for Sanguillen, the team leader in hitting. 4-4, third X. Houston's third baseman, though. They got all ones in there. Doug Rader's a 1-17 at third base. Got to get an error, or it's a double play, and it's a double play. Runner at third, 2 outs for Stargell. 37's a walk. And now you got Dave Parker. 45, grounds a second. So both pitchers Dance along the edge of the first inning, and nobody scores. Joe Ferguson. 210 is a double to left field. Doug Rader. 211 is hit by pitch. 2 on for Ken Southbound Suarez. 410 center X, and this is Omar Moreno in center field as a youngster. Three defense though. And that is a single ... Eventually he'd be an outstanding defensive center fielder, but not now at this young age. That is an RBI single, and the Astros have it rolling. 1-0, runners on the corners. It's Jose Cruz. 210 for Jose is single ... Another run. Runners on the corners for number 9 hitter Bobby Heiss. 212 pops a second. They'll bring the infield up now with 1 out for Cesar Cedeno. 2-3 short A. Runner holds at third. The runner from first goes to second. Second and third, 2 outs for Tommy Helms. 58 flies to left, and Rooker gets the last 3 outs to keep it 2-0. Bottom of 2. It'll be Rennie Stennett. 1-9 flies to center. Here's Omar Moreno. 2-7's a base hit. A stealer. You got Suarez, a +1 arm. You're down a couple runs. Bottom of the lineup. I think I'm going to steal a base, or attempt to. And at 20, yeah. Following the norm of my unsuccessful stolen bases attempt, both teams are now 0 for 2. And with 2 outs, it's Larry Milbourne. 43, left X. Jose Cruz is a 2-11 out there. And he makes a 2-base error. And the inning continues. Gene Lamont, future Pirate manager, platoon catcher, DH sometimes. Here he's DHing, and 5-6 is a walk. They want to get an extra lefty bat in the lineup against Richard. 2 on, 2 outs. Richie Hebner, 4-4. Third X, and again, here's Doug Rader, a 1-17 to bail out the pitcher, but he goofs the ball. 1-11 is an error. He's a 17, so that's an error for him as well. And the bases are loaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pirates have reached and haven't scored thus far for Al Oliver. 4-4, third X again. I'm plugging the 17 now. Another error on the... Oh my goodness, what a disaster for the Astros. Just 1 run has scored, which is Milbourne. After 3 hours in the errors in the inning, forgettable opening day here. It's 2-1, bases still loaded for Manny Sanguillen. 66, single 1-16. It's a single. That will tie the game. Bases still loaded with 2 outs. And you only got to deal with Pop Stargell. 5-11, second X. He's a 1. No, he's a 2. He's a 2-E10 at second base. And that's a single. The Houston defense, I don't know. They play on the turf in Houston, but something about the turf in Pittsburgh, they can't figure out what to do with ground balls anymore. Dave Parker, as they bat around with 3 errors tossed in there in a disastrous inning. 37, single on a 1. Line out! Are you kidding me? Let's take a look at the Parker card. I'll show you. So the Pirates, this is the first year without Roberto Clemente. We had a 72 card. And so Parker needed to be the everyday right fielder now, so they bumped him up and signed him to a 3-year deal with a 75 card. 308, 25 homers, 10 triples, and 35 doubles. People forget that aspect of the Cobras game. He rolls 3-7, single 1 line out, and he gets the 1. And that makes it 4-2. Nothing is earned in this inning. And now you got Rennie Stennett, who started the inning again. We just move over to the next frame. 38, grounds to third. 4-2 Pirates in a sloppy opening day after a bunch of crisply played ones recently. Top of the third, it's Bob Watson. 54 flies to right. Frank Robinson, 2-7's a walk. Joe Ferguson, 56 is a K. Doug Rader, 67, single one to 17 is a base hit. 2 on 2 outs for Ken Suarez. 58 flies to left. Well, if you like errors and getting caught stealing, we've had plenty of that for you, folks. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those possibilities, and we're only in the bottom of the third. Omar Moreno, 57, is a walk. Oh, let's try hit and run this time. Hit and run is a 7, means he has to steal. He rolls a 2. That'll be the T rating. And the T rating for Suarez is 1 to 7. And he rolled a 9. Doesn't get the T rating, but he gets a stolen base. So Milbourne will still swing with runner at second now. 6-11. First X. Watson's a 4-11 at first. And that's a double. Oh, Houston. They have great defense. It's just inexplicably blew up in their face somehow. Runner at second, Gene Lamont, 2-7 is a K. And back up top, Richie Hebner. 4-4, third X to the suddenly shaky Doug Rader, the 1-17 third baseman, and he makes a play. He has got to be ticked. So, interesting day for Hebner. Reaches on an error to the pitcher, reaches on an error to the third baseman, then he tries to go back to third base for a second time, finding green pastures there. Second inning, it didn't work. Third time around. All right, we go to the fourth. It's Jose Cruz, 54, center X. The 3-16 in center field of Moreno makes the catch. Bobby Heiss, 48, lines of short. Encedeno, 68, walks. Do you steal down 3 against the -2 arm? No, I don't think so. Tommy Helms, 69, second X. Stennett is a 2E20, and he makes the play. Bottom of the fourth. It's Al Oliver, 35, is a base hit. Manny Sanguillen, 2-8, is a 5. 4-3 double play. And Pop Stargell, 68, is a walk. Dave Parker, 46, is a fly ball to center field. Yeah, I mean, look, J.R. Richard, this is his debut card, but he still walks a lot of left-handed batters to be the ace of a staff. Something the Astros, if the Astros wanted to correct that, they certainly could. They have Dave Roberts and Larry Dierker, so they could juggle this rotation if Richard truly pitches this shaky continually, though you can't blame him for his wretched defense there. Top of the fifth, it's Bob Watson, 39, single 1 to 9, gets it. Frank Robinson, let's take a look at Frank's card before he swings. So Frank, if you're wondering, he is a grab suitcase. I'll go on a trip, because remember, he was, Cincinnati, the Baltimore, but then he also had stops with the Dodgers and the California Angels, and then the Cleveland Indians and the Cleveland Indians manager. So it's not like he is beholden to one particular major league franchise. He's helped Cleveland win a division a few years ago. He went to expansion Portland, helped them win a division. And then he was shipped off to Houston. So he is a good luck charm. Well, he's a great player. He's a Hall of Famer. But his teams have gone to the playoffs wherever he goes. He's a 266 hitter here with 30 bombs for the 1973 California Angels. More of a DH now. He can extend his career in the National League as a designated hitter. So, as we have designated hitters in both leagues. So, Frank Robinson, here's the pitch. 3-6 is a walk. And the tie run is Joe Ferguson playing right field. Always known to be able to catch and play the outfield for the Dodgers. He's going to do it here for the Astros. 64 off the rookie card. Here it is. Homer 1 to 5. Double the rest. And it is gone on a 5. Joe Ferguson. 3-run bomb with nobody out. And we got a tie game. And we got a wild thing going on here in Pittsburgh. After some low-scoring, briskly played 1-0, 2-1 openers, now we've got a kooky mess. 5-5, restart. Let's start again. Pretend it's the first inning. Ignore what just happened. Doug Rader, 4-4. Speaking of ignore what just happened, Doug Rader can forget those errors. Third X. This is Hebner, a 40-33. He'll probably make the play. Nope, he makes an error. I was going to say, yeah. Vast difference in defense at third base for the two teams. Ken Suarez. Let's see here. He'll swing away. 1-7's a walk. Astros cannot get out in the fifth inning. It's Jose Cruz. 47 off Rooker is a K. Number 9 hitter Bobby Hayes, utility player. 63, second X. Stennett's a 2E20. Need a turn 2 to get out of this, and he does! Turn 2. We got a 5-5 game. Who knows what's going to happen next, folks? Bottom of the fifth. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay. Rennie Stennett. 1-3 flies to center field. Moreno, 34, grounds to first. Larry Milbourne, 1-4, grounds to short. Nice inning for J.R. Richard, finally settling down. Through 5 frames, tie game. Masters has sent one more batter to the plate. Into the 6th. Rooker's a starter 8, as is Richard. They both are. Cedeno in the 6th. 67, single 1 to 17. He gets the 17 base hit. He wants the stolen base. He gets 1 on a 9. He's at second for Tommy Helms. 67, same thing. Single 1 to 17. He gets it. They're on the corners. For Bob Watson in a tie game with nobody out. We're playing back, hoping the big man hits into a double play. 56 is a strikeout. Now with 1 out, I want to bring the infield up. That's too easy a run to give up if they don't get the double play. They'll bring it up for Frank Robinson. Who has ground ball bees on his card? Oh yeah, he does. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them. 67 again. Single 1 to 17. Gets it for the 3rd time in the inning. That scores a run. First and second with 1 out. It's Joe Ferguson. 2-5. Ground ball short B. Now on the corners for Doug Rader. 42. A comebacker to the mound. And Jim Rooker now trails 6-5. Bottom of the 6th. Gene Lamont. 57 is a walk. He walked the number 9 hitter twice. Recipe for disaster. Back up top to Hebner. 2-4 is a 6-4-3 double play. Richie Hebner. And now Oliver, 48, flies to center. Errors, double plays, caught stealings, head scratcher. We go to the 7th. Rooker. Normally, the first game of a series, I like my starter to go deep so as not to tax a bullpen and roll that, weakness throughout the series. So Rooker's going to stand in there. Even if you give up 5 or 6 runs in our league, we only have 8-man pitching staff, so I like to roll with our starters when I can. Into the 7th, it's Ken Suarez. 1-9's a base hit. Now you got Jose Cruz. Let's take a look at this guy. Jose Cruz. You remember my story about J.R. Richard? Same kind of thing for Cruz. He's been around. Just hasn't been very good. But in 76, an excellent year. A 303 year for the Astros. 439 at-bats. Great range and arm. Not much power yet. It will come. Eventually, he becomes, an everyday star for the Astros throughout the end of this decade and the early 80s. Matter of fact, 1983 and 1984, he had 318 both of those years. So, plenty of good news looking ahead for Jose Cruz. Here's the pitch. 63 off of Rooker is second X. Stennett, the 2E20, turns another double play. There was a time when Rennie Stennett couldn't catch a can of olives if you handed it to him. But here, he's now at 2, and he's made 2 double plays today. My goodness. And now it's Bobby Heiss. 1-6 is a single. And now you got Cedeno for the 5th time, and Rooker. Now you got to start thinking about if you want to throw to this guy again. You got righty, 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 and Jose Cruz. So, do you want to go around this one more time with Rooker, or do you want to start using this bullpen? Well, we're going to hook him after 6 2/3. Mostly because he gave up 6 runs. We're going to go to Randy Moffett in the Pirate pen. He actually was a San Francisco Giant in 73, 4-4 with a 2.43 ERA in 100 innings. He'll hold down the fort of setup guy until Kent DeColvey arrives, which will probably be next year. Randy Moffett comes on in the 7th, faced the top of the lineup, all righties, Cesar Cedeno. Here's the pitch. 1-8 Cedeno, doesn't matter, lefty righty, that's double. Double 1 a 2. It's a 3, it's a single dot. Runners on the corners, 2 outs for Tommy Helms. 6-11 off of Moffett. First X, Oliver. 2-10 at first base. And he makes the play. It's a 6-5 game in Pittsburgh. Stretch time here in Three Rivers, and we are enjoying, here we go, Cowboys to Girls album, 1968. The Intruders. Played often on the radio in Pennsylvania and Maryland area. The Gamble and Huff record label. Great soul music vocalists. Cowboys to Girls, the big hit. Sad Girl. Love is Like a Baseball Game. Great stuff by the Intruders. Bottom of the 7th, J.R. Richard. Starter 8. The Astro bullpen is okay. It's not as good as it will be later in the decade, so let's just see what our starter can do. Manny Sanguillen. 53, flies to left X, out in left field. You got Jose Cruz, 2-11. Makes the grab. Pops Stargell, 49, flies to center, and with 2 outs, it's the Cobra. 39's a walk. And you got Rennie Stennett. 410 off of Richard is center X, but you got Cedeno, 1-7 in center field, and he makes the grab. We go to the 8th. Bob Watson. 49 is second X. Again, Stennett makes the play. Frank Robinson, 68, flies to right field. And Joe Ferguson, 2-5, grounds to short. Can the Astros improve their defense a little bit? Sure, they can. They can get Wilbur Howard into the outfield. He's a better defensive outfielder than Joe Ferguson. Ferguson can actually catch. We can get Suarez out of there. Or we can get Ferguson out of there, actually, since he just batted. And get Roger Metzger into the game as a 1 shortstop. That'll really help the defense. Sounds good. All right, Houston has improved their defense in 2 spots. Bottom of the 8th for Richard. At this point, giving up 5 runs, I think if he puts a batter's zone, we'll bring out the big old hook. Particularly with 3 straight lefties coming up here. So as not to grab an L. So it'll be Moreno. 45, grounds to second. Larry Milbourne, 2-7 is a liner to second. And Gene Lamont, who has walked twice today. 47 is a strikeout. That could be the day. Yeah, with Hebner coming up. That'll be the day for Richard. Only 1 was earned, by the way. It's 6-5 with the 9th. Moffett, as long as you got righties, he'll continue. For the Pirates. In the 9th. Doug Rader, 2-3. Grounds to short. Batting for Suarez. Let's see here. I'll let Suarez hit away. 1-11. Pops to first. Jose Cruz. 2-9 is a single. A Steeler. He'll try a stolen base this late. He's going to be safe. Barely. And Bobby Heiss. We'll let him swing away. 4-10, center X. 3-16 in center. A little shaky out there, but Moreno makes the grab. Okay, buckle up, folks. It's a 1-run game in the bottom of the 9th. J.R. Richard, we'll go straight to the closer. J.R. Richard will exit And Steve Mingori will come on into the ninth. Mingori wasn't an Astro. He had pitched for Kansas City. He had pitched for Cleveland. The Astros, a few years ago, had the worst left-handed pitching in the sport by droves. They were horrible. The starter and the two relievers are terrible. They've improved all that. They went out and got Dave Roberts a couple years ago. They went out and got Steve Mingori, and they improved Mike Cosgrove. So now they're reasonable. They're a top lefty group. Mingori 2-3 with a 2.82 ERA and 67 innings for your 74 Kansas City Royals. Can he close this thing out? All this defense is in there. Top of the Pirate lineup against the lefty on the bench. You have Richie Zisk, who should find a spot to swing in this inning. Frank Tavares, George Theodore. But Hebner hits lefties okay, as does Oliver. Sanguin, I don't know, I guess you got to wait all the way to the bottom before you bring those pinch hitters in. So that's actually good news for Mingori. Mingori much better against lefties. So here we are, advantage Houston. Top of the Pirate lineup, it's Richie Hebner. 47 is a walk. Hebner at the top of the lineup, not for his speed, but for his on-base ability. One of the few Pirates who could take a look and grab some walks. He's at first. And you got Al Oliver. Let's take a look at some cards now. Now we're getting late in this game. Al Oliver. 1976, a 323 hitter with 12 dingers. Still needed both in center field and at first. Now that Moreno has arrived, he could probably settle down more at first base where he's a 2. So Stargell could be rotated between DH and left field with Richie Zisk if needed. So you don't have to worry about defense at center and first simultaneously. So there's that. Here's the pitch to Al Oliver. 66 up and Gory flies to right. Now you got Manny Sanguin. 69 off the Mingori card is a pop to short. And with 2 outs, it comes down to Pop Stargell. Let's show you the card. So 73 Pop Stargell, 71 Pop Stargell. Remarkable years both. Hit 290 in both years, had 48 homers in 71, 44 in 73. For whatever reason, folks, don't let me know this. I have no idea this happens. That 71 card was jinxed. He never hit 220 or higher than that with that 71 card. Then we flipped him into the 73 card, and he's hitting 350 the last couple of years. Virtually the same statistics in each of the cards. It's just luck and short sample size and all that kind of stuff. So this is the card that the Pirates want in this situation. Can we get a 2-5-3-6 walk-off dinger by Pop Stargell in the bottom of the ninth? Here is the pitch. 4-11 again. All the rolls on Mingori today. 4-11 left X out in left field. You got a 2E11. That's a high E rating. A 2E11. Eddie makes the catch. And in a game dominated by errors early, a non-error decides it. A E11 defensive player makes a nice grab to end the game on opening day in Pittsburgh. The Astros, down 5-2, come back with a 3-run homer by Ferguson, make it 6-5. Turned out to be a pretty good game after all the messy start. Well, J.R. Richard with a win. Steve Mingori gets a save, and Jim Rooker takes the defeat. So we'll give you the results of the rest of this series. Game 2 here in Pittsburgh, it'll be battle lefties again. Dave Roberts, John Candelaria. Then when the series goes to Houston, Pittsburgh will have Bruce Keeson versus Larry Durker, and Alan Foster signed away from the Cardinals to the Pirates against Tom Griffin of the Astros. So stay tuned. All right, baseball fans, here's the box score of the game you saw. The 6-5 win, sloppy ball game for the visiting Astros. J.R. Richard, 8 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, just 1 allowed. Did walk 7, struck out just 2. Interesting. Nice save from Mingori. Sloppy effort, Jim Rooker, 12 hits and 6 2/3. So what else happens here in a nice series? Game 2. And this would go extra, and that might be a theme this year, folks. We are getting extra inning ball games, which means we're getting to use that Major League Baseball modern rule with a guy at second base. And for better or for worse, we'll figure this all out. Let's just go there. If I'm telling you it's gone extra innings, and we'll just go to the extra innings. the starters were Candelaria and Roberts. Candelaria went 6 2/3. Roberts went 8. Necro had a couple nice innings of relief. Luke Walker had a couple nice innings for Pittsburgh. That's a good sign. Bottom of the 11th, you had a stolen base. So what happened was the inherited runner at second. Pittsburgh tried to bunt him to third with Frank Tavares. Didn't work. And so Tavares was at first with a runner thrown out at third. He steals second base anyway. And he would score, or actually, correct that, he didn't score that inning. That was the 10th. In the 11th inning, Manny Sanguian scores on a Dave Parker hit. 2-1 Pirates in the 11th. That's all you need to know, folks. All tied up. These games are starting to run together because I'm getting more extra inning games here. All right, so game 3, Pirates win this one 4-1. Bruce Keeson 7 1/3, 7 hits, just a run allowed. Durker 8 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs. The big hits in this one was in a 2-1 game, a 2-run homer by Dave Parker made it 4-1. Dave Justy gets a save, so the back end of Pittsburgh's bullpen seems solid. And the Pirates, who lost home field advantage after a game 1 defeat, reclaim it. Takes us to game 4 in Houston. And in this one, it is the Astros who even the series. Perfect scenario. Each team won and lost in the other's park. So Tom Griffin bests Alan Foster. If you're wondering about the Pirate pitching staff, they've all been... Rooker and Candelaria couldn't get out of the 7th. Foster couldn't get out of the 6th. In this case, self-inflicted wounds here by Alan Foster. After a double and 2 outs, he gives up a single, then 3 straight walks, left in there to his own whatever. Because they just want to get a Pirates starter deep into a game, and it's not happening. It's an 8-6 final for Houston, sending this thing back to Pittsburgh for Game 5. The game I just played, and again, we've had our second scoreless 9-inning baseball game very early into the 2025 season. J.R. Richard and Jim Rooker, again, combining, this time much better game than the game you saw. J.R. Richard, 9 scoreless innings, 7 walks, 4 strikeouts, but he gave up 9 hits. Jim Rooker also gave up 9 hits. They're both pulled after going 9 innings. By the way, the two teams combined for 1 run on 20 hits. The game ends in the 10th inning with the leadoff runner at second. The road team, in this case Houston, decides to do the bunt. We've seen this a few times. Not sure if this is a viable solution to bunting for the road team to get the guy to third base, particularly when it fails. In this case, it did fail. Cedeno would single anyway, put runners in the corners, but Helms and Watson struck out against Dave Justy. Bottom half of the inning, pretty simple, with the guy at second base. Ronnie Stennett rolls double chance on his card, ball game. So Joe Niekro takes that loss. Justy gets a victory. Pirates win the series 3-2. An interesting series. Couple of takeaways here. Not liking how the Pirates starters aren't getting past the 7th inning. Nor do I like only Alan Foster and Jim Rooker pitching on 3 days rest, because Candelaria doesn't. The Pirate bullpen has held up thus far, though it could be their ultimate downfall. Justy's good. Walker and Johnson are okay. Moffat's good against righties. Bottom line is the Pirate offense has got to start putting crooked number runs up if they really want to go to the World Series, and they're not doing it even though they beat Houston. The Astros, on the other hand, is a similar thing. They've got some fireworks in this lineup that aren't doing much. Frank Robinson, who was brought in with his 30 dingers, not working. Bob Watson. Cedeno's been great. He's 4 for 5, but he's doing it off from the leadoff spot where he can't really produce runs, RBIs from there. He went 4 for 5, didn't score or didn't drive in a run. 4 singles. Richard pitched much better this time than the first time. Roberts pitched well. Durker not so much. Mingori's been good out of the Houston bullpen. Interesting. I mean, let's put these teams on the contender list, and more TBD, more information needs to be determined. Basically, it's up to the Reds to come down to the Pirates level. Astros, yeah, they're sitting there if the Giants and Dodgers flail away. So it's still early in the season, but you got to break up the Pirates for matching Cincinnati's start by winning 3-2. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.